After the devastation, the Constitution is amended, and the newly elected president accepts a lifetime term of office. The country's capital is relocated from Washington, D.C. to the president's hometown of Lynchburg, Virginia. Los Angeles Island is declared no longer part of the United States and becomes the deportation point for all people found undesirable or unfit to live in the new moral America. The United States police force, like an army, is encamped along the shoreline, making any escape from LA impossible. From the southeastern hills of Orange County to the northwestern shore of Malibu, the Great Wall excludes LA from the mainland. The president's first act as permanent commander-in-chief is Directive 17. Once an American loses his or her citizenship, they are deported to this island of the damned, and they never come back.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is Cheap Seat Reviews.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Cheap Seat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good.
The greater good.
This is episode 301. Boy, you think that'd be easy to remember since last week was 300. Episode 301. And tonight we're talking about Escape from LA. That's right. Escape from LA, the sequel to the cult classic Escape from New York. And we're going to find out which city is better, New York or LA, to escape from. I am Sean Allred, and joining me tonight is Andrew would have died in that basketball court, Jimison.
There was a basketball court? Oh, yeah. I remember now. It was guns. Yeah, that's how I always play basketball, though.
Yeah? Like with people
Guns
throwing
out.
you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sun's out, guns out. And,
Okay. And Sam riding the tsunami, dude. Vector.
Hey, Sean. Thank you for having me on tonight and talking about this stellar movie that you forced me to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was going to choose a way for you to die, it would definitely be in a life or death basketball arena.
Oh, that's cool.
Just so you know. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Honestly, there's not a whole lot of creative way for people to die in this movie. They're pretty much just shot.
Yeah.
It's pretty unoriginal in that respect. But so I'm gonna take a moment here before we talk about this movie, because I don't really want to talk about this movie, and ask you: have you figured out? The 4 tunes of our intro, our new intro, or I guess 5 tunes of our new intro?
That's Dragonheart, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That is Dragon.
I don't know. What's the other one?
Oh, I can play a little bit of the intro again if you want.
Yeah, play it again.
This is more fun. Believe me, guys, this is gonna be way more fun than actually listening while talking.
I feel like the first one is an Avenger movie of some kind.
Program to bring you a special report.
Is that Ant-Man?
No, close.
Huh.
He's my favorite Avenger.
Oh yeah. Squirrel Girl.
No.
It's not Stephen Strange, is it?
No, it isn't. No, it's not.
No.
No. Though I do love the soundtrack for that, but it's not that one.
Yeah.
Who is that? I know that. Don't tell me.
But your favorite Avenger, that's a clue.
It is.
So it's not Thor, because that's not Thor's thing.
It has to be somebody that's had their own movie.
This is that movie.
Yeah.
They've even had two.
It's not Ant-Man.
It's not.
I don't know. This is great podcasting, by the way.
Yeah, help me out here.
This
is wonderful.
I'm just gonna tell you that's Spider-Man.
Ah. Okay.
Oh, okay. That
That's
makes
from,
sense.
That's from Homecoming. All right, next one. I'll give you a hint. It's
Is that
not
a pirate?
the Caribbean.
Oh. I don't know.
It's the movie Pirates of the Caribbean stole from.
Crimson Tide.
Nope. Same right composer.
She's All That.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. That's from Gladiator.
Okay. Yeah.
And of course, Sam got this one.
Yeah.
I love Dragonheart. It's a terrible movie, but that the score is way better than the movie.
Amen.
You have to be super nerd, super fan of this movie to get that reference.
Yeah, I don't
get
get
that one.
Yeah, that's from The Iron Giant.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no way you would have recognized that. I honestly put that in because I asked you guys for options, and you guys said just do something that sounds kind of epic. And when I got to Dragonheart, I'm like, music is so good, it always kind of makes me cry. What else makes me cry? Oh yeah, Iron Giant makes me cry. Let's put that at the end.
The Iron Giant.
Yeah. And then there's. Right, I like that. That's the new. That's the theme to the new Star Trek Discovery. I just like it. It's just kind of chill and whatever. So,
yeah,
there,
that
that
never
was
gotten that one. Sorry.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that was a fun little couple-minute detour before we talk about 1996's Escape from L.A.
And see, therein is the problem. This was
Yeah.
made in 1996. And for God's sake, this movie felt like it was straight out of the early 80s. It didn't feel like a 90s movie.
Well, okay, hold on. I'm going to defend the 90s for a second. Or I don't know if defend's the right word. This movie is squarely in the 90s zeitgeist because A, motorcycles just randomly explode, right? Explodium.
Okay, all right.
We were very into the Explodium in the 90s. I know Commando was in the 80s, but like we were still making things explode randomly, like Waterworld, right? Like those random things would just explode. So that's a very 90s thing. The tech in this movie screams 90s, right? Like it. I know.
No, I disagree because I think in the 80s we were obsessed with buttons and knobs and switches
and color.
Yeah.
Colorful.
So
buttons.
I think whoever did the design for all that was stuck in the 80s. But I don't think it was. I don't know. To me, once you said it was 1996, I could have sworn it was an homage to the 80s, or it had to be an homage to the 80s.
Yeah, there's nothing that I read or have seen would suggest that. I think that this is just a movie that Carpenter wanted to do. He'd been wanting to do it for a while, and
since the 80s.
Yeah, and when he finally was able to do it, he, for whatever reason, didn't get the budget, and
this is after Jurassic Park.
Yeah, but I mean, and that's always the marker, right, that we use is Jurassic Park. But that's obviously super unfair to that movie, to this movie, because Carpenter movies are always like super low budget, which I don't understand. I mean, the guy is successful. Okay, I shouldn't say super low budget. This was a $50 million budget.
Yeah. Now, Jurassic Park was twice the amount, but
yeah,
still.
Yeah, and again. And Jurassic Park, I mean, to be fair, Jurassic Park only has like 8.5 minutes of CGI dinosaurs. The rest are animatronic.
Actually, it's between 14 and 15 minutes.
Okay, 15 minutes of animatronic. This movie has way more scenes that are CGI. But the problem is that they're all terrible.
Yes.
It's all bad.
Nothing looks good.
But we're gonna shelve that for a moment.
Okay.
Because that's gonna come up later in the trivia, and it's gonna make some things are gonna make a little bit of sense, I guess. But so let's just setting aside the bad CGI, right? Is it a good movie or an entertaining movie within that? And I put it on the list because this movie for me was one of those weird movies that was, I had HBO in high school, and I watched this movie probably 3 or 4 times in high school. And for whatever reason, I liked this movie back then. I really did. I had fun with it. I thought it was ridiculous and over the top and fun and entertaining. And I haven't watched this movie in 20 years. And it has not aged well. Oh my gosh. There is almost redeeming qualities in this movie. It's not like there's some movies where we watch and we go, like Escape from New York is not great. But there was moments that I think we had some laughs with it, and there was some over the top stuff that we could kind of get behind. And like we could kind of, but like this movie is just so campy and dumb, and the only parts where I was enjoying myself was, I don't know, I guess I kind of like the Bruce Campbell part with the when he was the Surgeon General. Like that's kind of fun.
I mean, but
it's only because it's Bruce Campbell, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I only care because I like Bruce Campbell and his roles and things. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you would have put anyone else in that role, I wouldn't have cared at all. You know, it's like if you put Nathan Fillion in a thing, I'm going to want to watch it because it's Nathan Fillion. But if that would have been, I don't know, Steven Dorff, I don't know why that just popped in my head. But you know what I'm saying? Like, who cares, right?
But see, here's the thing. If it was a Bruce Campbell type movie, I'm all for it, right?
Yeah.
And it tried to keep itself. I'm sorry. It was treating itself too serious to be a Bruce Campbell movie. And the way the snake Plissken or whatever name they used 500 times in this movie, just like Escape from New York, it just didn't. I don't know. It wasn't kooky, I guess, enough, if I can use that, kooky enough to be a farce.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the problem is that Escape from New York is a hard R, serious kind of. It's supposed to be kind of a futuristic Die Hard kind of a thing, and this thing is like it bounces between the Big Trouble in Little China, John Carpenter, and the Escape movie, and I don't think it balances very well. I think it kind of weaves all over the road back and forth, and I think that's the problem.
Yes, and that's where I was going.
Yeah.
The tone is not quite right.
Like it can't make up its mind what it wants to be.
Yeah.
We have our 5-word intros, and we're going to do those now, I guess. We've already kind of, all of us, Andrew hasn't said much, but he's been nodding on camera, agreeing with.
Well, for those of you watching on YouTube,
your turn.
Give you something to look at.
Sam, go ahead with your 5-word review. What you got for us, man?
I've got one tonight, and only because I put as much effort into my 5-word review as I did my as they did in this movie.
Oh.
Thank God it is over.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I did not have fun with this. In fact, it kind of pissed me off. If looking down at your phone, or if trying to forcing yourself to pay attention is a measurement of the movie, I almost had to duct tape myself into the room to finish this thing out. It was bad. It was, you guys know I love movies and I enjoy them. And this one was nowhere near that. It was bad. It was so bad.
Yeah.
So, I did not have a good time. And what can we say? The acting, bad. The visuals, bad. The story, bad. The music, bad. What is redeeming in this movie?
Was that I thought that was rhetorical.
Was that a rhetorical? Yeah.
Well, that the problem is it's not supposed to be, right? Like I should be able to, because you know me, like I like to defend dumb movies like this.
I don't generally just blast a movie from, this is. I think I would rather watch Rubber than I would this movie. I really, really do, and that's saying something in our arena here.
Yeah, I can't go there with you. I really can't.
Yeah, I would rather watch Trolls 2. I can't think of another movie I'd rather watch. At least Trolls 2 was so stupid it was funny. Yeah. This one is just not anywhere near it. So I had a really bad time with this movie. If you haven't figured it out, it was a disaster in our house.
And we've mentioned many times on the show, sometimes just our mood can affect the viewing. And sometimes when we get together and we do the podcast, we can say, sometimes we can like convince ourselves otherwise. Like we can, I can sit there and go, no, Sam, this part was great and this was really interesting and they tried to do this thing and this is where they were going. And there have been times when you're like, yeah, okay, I'll give it a 6.5 instead of a 6.
Yeah.
I don't have that energy for this movie or the love. Like I have a weird nostalgia part for it, and I'm glad I guess we did the movie for the podcast because at least one we've finished out. We've done
both of the.
We've done the Escape Cinematic Universe, but
at least I thought New York was entertaining in some aspect, but this one just doubled down on dumb in my mind.
Yeah. What you got, Andrew?
I kind of went. No, I went above and beyond this time. I have 3 5-word reviews.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So here we go. Number 1 was all right until tsunami surfing.
Okay.
Number 2, that's not how gliders work.
Yeah.
And number 3, didn't skimp on Foley work. I mean, honestly, I guess I turned my brain off and embraced it for its terribleness. Until tsunami surfing. And that was quite literally one of the worst scenes I've ever seen in any film ever. The CGI was horrendous.
Well, again,
they did better surfing in like Hawaii 5-0, the original. It was awful. I don't know why you can't take somebody to. Okay, had you stuck him in the ocean and actually had him surf, we would have said, oh, that's not really.
Oh, it just picked him up. Just kind of pick him up from the shore there, and that's how you surf.
But this looked terrible. I mean, this was just bad.
Again, forgetting the bad CGI, right? Let's just focus on the fact that they had Peter Fonda on this thing. Like, did he owe John Carpenter money? Why was he there? Could you imagine that? Like showing that back to Peter Fonda and being like, this is what it looks like. And he goes, oh, well, the check cleared.
I felt like his character was almost out of place and unneeded.
Well, there was a lot in this movie that was unneeded, but
yeah.
Honestly, here's my biggest issue with the
defend movie. This thing, Sean. Defend it. Come on.
I can't defend it. Here's the problem. Like again, Escape from New York is has this kind of weird, and I saw this one first, right? I saw this movie first, and I remember when we did that episode thinking Escape from New York's kind of boring and it's just dull and New York looks like garbage. This is why we think New York is terrible. And I remember thinking that this movie was like over the top but vibrant with color and lots of weird things and cool action. And Snake kind of sucks in this movie. He's not really all that good at really anything in this movie. Not really. I mean, I guess he.
Wait, is that Snake Plissken?
Yeah, yeah. That guy
Was that?
one.
He reminded me of somebody. I think it was Snake Plissken.
It's just so bad.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it? But no. So here's my biggest issue with the movie.
Okay.
And this is so dumb. But I had forgotten all of the United States has turned into a religious country. I had forgotten about all that. And when the intro that I played starts off with this guy that's running for president predicts an earthquake, and then the earthquake comes true, the United States just says, oh, this man predicted an event. He must become our deity. Let's elect him president for lifetime. I can't imagine ever a scenario where that happens. Ever. And
but yet you're totally cool with surfing a tsunami.
I'm fine with that. It's stupid.
You're totally cool with using gliders to glide in.
Yeah. Somehow the gliders, they go down to 10 feet and then just stay at 10 feet for the next, for the next mile and a half.
I think they went back up.
Well, they mentioned the fires, right? Like the heat rising bit, like they mention it, but they don't depict it. They just show that the Hollywood sign is on fire. I guess it's a perpetual fire. The everlasting flame from the Rose Bowl has gotten into the hills of California. But just like they said, oh man, the fires are burning. We're gonna get the whatever, and then they're just swinging. You can clearly tell that they're on a crane, just swinging them in circles. And I wonder.
Well, so you're completely okay with Snake Driscoll being able to sink basketball shots.
He did it. He actually did that. That's the thing, is that I watched, believe it or not, the making of this movie on HBO. They did a little 30-minute vignette back when I, watched HBO, back in like 97 when this was on HBO. And I watched him do that. And it didn't take as many takes as you would think. Now, the one thing that he did do is that, and they hide it pretty well, is that the eye patch he's wearing is translucent. So he has both eyes to shoot. That was the hardest part. So like when he throws that full court shot, his back is to us. He's not wearing the eye patch. But he made all those shots. Now, he didn't do it in one take, obviously. But I thought that was kind of cool. I'm like, okay, give him props. The man made a full court shot, like right on. But again, back to your point, Sam. Nothing in this movie is good or believable. Again, my issue is that I can't imagine America, especially now in the 2020 that we live in now, where we are protesting everything from reasonable things to very unreasonable things. And I can't imagine America where we elect this guy president for life, and he's just the dude's insane. And here's the funny thing. You guys know this. I always do my notes before I go back and read trivia. And I wrote probably my fourth note down. I know it's totally a coincidence, but the president looks like that crazy pastor man who needs a jet. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I know
yes. Yeah.
Okay. So then I get into the trivia, and where is it? The character of the president was Kurt Russell's idea. He was based on the televangelist Pat Robertson. He based it on that guy.
Nice.
Didn't Pat Robertson run for president?
I think he did.
Oh, you know what? I've got him mixed up. So Pat Robertson is the old man that's on the TV on.
Or am I thinking of Ed?
He's the guy that's on the.
In 1986, Robertson tried to. He announced his intention to be Republican nomination.
Interesting, and he's from Lexington, Virginia, not Lynchburg, Virginia.
Yeah.
Where they moved the capital of the United States. Why would
Makes
they do
sense.
that? I don't.
Oh, because this guy predicted the earthquake, man. I mean, it makes sense.
It doesn't.
It's all in the story there. It's a beautifully Mad Lib created story in Hollywood that they all sat in a room and came up with adjectives and names and different plot ideas.
But like, I don't even get the point of having it moved to Lynchburg. There's no point in that other than just to say the line. It would have been funnier, honestly, to show, show Washington, and it's like a panoramic, just a stock footage of Washington, but they like put a CGI cross on the Washington Monument. You know what I'm saying? Like they turned into a religious icon instead of. I
saw a movie where they did that, and I can't remember what it was.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the president himself, that actor, I mean, I'm not saying any actors in this movie were good, but he was terrible.
And he's a good actor. I mean,
yeah, he is.
He gave us the greatest Marvel comic book line in the history of Marvel film.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
With great power comes great responsibility. He's Uncle Ben. I mean, he is Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
Uncle Ben's rice. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And by the way, it was Handmaid's Tale that did the cross.
Oh, okay. I've not watched that, so that's interesting.
Huh.
That's interesting. Anyway, yeah, I don't know who am I thinking of? Who's that crazy pastor then that wanted the jet? You know what I'm talking about?
We all have these Google machines. I'll just look it up.
Yeah, pastor wanted a jet. I just Googled that guy.
Yeah. Kenneth Copeland.
Is that who it is?
I don't know. He purchased a Gulfstream jet that probably cost millions. I literally typed "pastor that wanted jet," and his big old fat face popped into the top of the screen.
Yes, this guy. There's these great videos of this guy.
Is he the guy that like blew away coronavirus?
Yeah.
Okay.
They've turned that into like a remix. It's hilarious. It's really great. If any one of you listening are a fan of his and are offended by what I'm saying,
I don't care.
Don't let the door hit you on the way.
Yeah. I'm glad we're all on the same page with that one.
Yeah, that guy literally gives Christianity a bad name. I'm just saying. All right. Anyway, my 5-word review.
Yes.
I struggled with this because I wanted it to be funny, and I couldn't think of any way to make this movie funny because there's nothing funny in this movie. Not really. Some of the clips are kind of funny out of context, but you know what I'm saying? Like there's the local radio station does a thing on Fridays called Fun with Audio, and they do whatever sport is in town is popular. It's like fun with golf, fun with NASCAR.
One that is actually going on right now, right?
Right, and since now the only thing we have is NASCAR, and I think a little bit of golf. They're doing a little bit of those, and then just highlights of old ones. And so when you take comments out of context, it sounds dirty, and they giggle like 14-year-old boys. Like when you know what I'm saying, like when you're watching like a race car driver, and he's like, "Oh man, here he comes! He's gonna get right in the back end of Danica. Oh, here he comes!" You know, like when they say stuff like that, like out of context, again, we're all giggling, like because we're all children. Anyway, so some of this is kind of like that, but for the most part, it's terrible. So here's my 5-word review: worst Carpenter movie ever. I had to get to 5.
Get into one of the words.
You put as much effort into that as they did the movie too. So I mean,
that's the sad part is I thought about that for a while. Like I couldn't think of anything better. I watched.
And here's the thing: I really want some viewer, some listener, if you ever come across this podcast, if it's 50 years from now, visit me in the home and tell me why you liked this movie. Right? I just don't. Who likes this movie? I don't. Maybe Kurt Russell's mother, I guess. But even then, she probably says, "Son, that's probably not the best choice you made." Right?
I'm looking at the
Is
movies.
that how Kurt Russell's mother sounds?
That's what I would think. Yeah, it's
I'm looking
roundabouts.
at the movies that he's made that I've seen. So I've seen Halloween, Escape from New York, The Thing, Starman, Christine, Big Trouble in Little China, Memoirs of an Invisible Man, Escape from L.A., and Ghosts of Mars. And I think this is... I've not seen They Live yet, but I want to. That would be a good one for the podcast, They Live. They Live has... Anyway, has an epic fight scene, apparently, in it.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anything that he's done that I've enjoyed.
I like Guardians of the Galaxy too.
Okay. Yeah, John Carpenter didn't direct that, but
I thought we were talking about Kurt Russell. Sorry, my brain must have turned off who we were talking about.
oh, that's
Now, I will say that I know it says he was a writer on Stranger Things, but I like that. But one
probably
episode.
Consulted him since he did so many movies in the 80s like that. That's probably that's probably the worst part of Stranger Things is what he decided to give to him.
There's nothing. I've seen Halloween, and I've seen.
Halloween is a great film. It's really good.
Yeah.
No, for 78, for a horror film that started a franchise of like 20 films, it was a good movie.
Well, I guess that's true.
And Starman is a good movie. And
it's been a long time since I've seen that one.
Yeah, I know. Big Trouble in Little China is ridiculous, but we all had.
But it was a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
And I could have appreciated that type of tone on this movie.
Yeah.
That would have made this better.
Right?
Yeah. Now, here's some fun trivia. I don't know if I put this.
Are we going into that now?
No, I'm just reading it. I'm just saying it because I didn't. Oh no, I did write it down. The Ghost of Mars movie was originally intended to be the third Snake Plissken movie, entitled Escape from Mars. But when Escape from LA did not do well at the box office, they
wonder why
to change it up. I like to think that the third movie in this series is Book of Eli.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll give you that.
Because okay. Can we talk about the ending?
Book of Eli.
Oh yeah. Can we talk about the ending for a minute?
Sure. Oh, Book of Eli.
We must.
We're on Alcatraz.
No.
Oh, okay.
Sadly, no. I'd rather talk about that again. So that's a trope, by the way, right? Like there's a person that's sent to go protect the thing or to stop the thing, and then allows the thing to happen anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a trope, right? I can't. I know there are other movies where this happens. I just can't think of what they are.
Jurassic World, this last one where she let the dinosaurs out.
Yeah, but that was more for self-preservation, right? She let the T-Rex out so they needed more teeth, right?
No, they had the choice to let him die or go free, and she let him go free. I'm trying to think of movies.
No, this is the thing. I just can't think of what it is. But I know there's times where like we have to stop the thing, and like, well, what if it? I mean, I guess kind of Ultron is kind of like that, right? Like they're supposed to stop Ultron, and then they end up creating Vision anyway. I mean, that kind of is. I can't think. I know people.
Cabin in the Woods. Right.
Yes. Cabin in the Woods is a perfect example where they, if you let her die, then it stops the end of the world. But they would rather, nope, we're gonna let her live, and then the things come out of the ground. Yeah, no, that's a great one. So the idea is that the United States is so corrupt, and this guy, this president, is so evil that he's willing to kill people on live TV, and he's willing to execute his own daughter. And if you've sinned in any way, you get caught sinning, you can go to jail and be sent to prison, and if you repent, you can be electrocuted there on site. So Plissken decides to let's just hit the reset button. But here's the problem. yeah, we now live in a world without power until people are able to bring it back. The guy's still the president. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
he's not changed that. He's still the president of a corrupt government. And let's also think about the thousands of people he just killed who were needing life support. That it's just gone. What about all of the airplanes that just came crashing down? Like, these are the things that I'm thinking about. Like, Plissken's not a good guy at all in this moment. He's kind of the worst human ever, kind of, right now.
Yep.
A lot of innocent people dying because of that.
Yeah, but because he wanted to stick it to the president, I guess. I don't know. It seemed really weird. Like in the moment, like when I was watching it in high school, and I'm like, yeah, suck it, you old fogey. And then I'm watching it now, and I'm like, man, a lot of people died just now because of that. So, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I don't know, whatever. Maybe I'm thinking too much. I probably am. I did also write in one of my notes, I don't care that the CGI is bad, but in 96, we didn't have a better idea of what future tech would look like. Green vector graphics on everything. Like, and that's one thing that's very 80s, Sam, is text making noises.
Yep.
Well, when did Independence Day come out?
96, I thought. Or 95?
96, right? Yeah.
I thought 96.
Same year. And we didn't have all that stuff in Independence Day.
No,
and that's future tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is future tech. And, well, there's also, I mean, I guess, it's a bigger budget film, but yeah, it's such a bad movie. This is not Independence Day. Independence Day, I like Independence Day. I think
Me too.
That movie actually kind of holds up. The second one's not as good, but the first one's kind of fun. I mean, yeah, there's some dumb tech in the first one. I mean, he uses his MacBook Pro to upload a virus wirelessly. Like, did they have a Wi-Fi password? Like, did they not have their Wi-Fi password on? Like, how do you? I don't know. Like, I know that stuff's dumb, but I don't care. I just realized this is cool. One of the writers of Independence Day, Dean Devlin, he's the guy that is the creator, the showrunner for Leverage.
Oh, really?
Which is one of my favorite shows, and I'm actually currently rewatching for the 4th or 5th time.
Good Lord.
There's another movie that came out in 1996 called Don't Be a Menace to South Central While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood.
Mm-hmm. Don't be a menace, yeah.
Yeah, that's the longest title I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it is a long title. Wow, this guy's done a lot of writing. This is cool. Yeah, he did producer. Yeah, Leverage. Yeah, they're bringing Leverage back, by the way. They're going to do another season, which I'm
good.
Super
excited.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. But sadly, it won't have Timothy Hutton as the lead, as Nate. Timothy Hutton apparently is going through a little hashtag Me Too issues right now. So, yeah. So he's going to be doing something else. He directed Geostorm, Dean Devlin. Look at that. He directed Geostorm. Went from Leverage to Geostorm. You know what? And Geostorm's not a great movie, but it's not the worst I've ever seen. It's better than this.
It does what it's intended to do.
Yeah,
it's a vehicle for fun disaster stuff.
Yeah, it's exactly right. And I'm only saddened that what's his name? 300. We just watched it.
Bruce Campbell. Roy Disney.
It was
Gerard Butler.
Yes, Gerard Butler. I'm just sad he didn't get to punch more people in that movie is all.
So I'm looking at a list here. Sorry,
I'm still not used to you being comically close to the camera.
I know, this is really weird.
So Anyway, I'm looking at a list. I kind of went down a rabbit hole here of which are the best series comprising of only 2 films.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And this is actually on that list, surprisingly.
Mm,
There's Flag of Our Fathers
Yeah.
and Letters from Iwo Jima. And then there's
Yeah.
Kill Bill 1 and 2.
Sure.
And then there's Tron and Tron Legacy.
One
Which-
of those is good.
Yeah. Adam's Family and Adam's Family Values.
One of those is good.
Yeah. Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2.
One of those is good.
Uh,
I like
Mask
the
of
second one.
Zorro, Legend of
Better.
Zorro.
One of those is good.
Oh, The Fugitive and U.S. Marshals.
Both of those are good.
Yeah.
Both of those. Romancing the Stone and Jewel of the Nile. Neither one of those are good.
Romancing.
Under Siege, Under Siege 2.
Up until about a year and a half ago, Bad Boys 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've not seen the third one, but I've been told it's terrible.
The
Oh.
Rescuers and The Rescuers Down Under.
Those are cute.
Gremlins 1 and 2.
Frozen 1 and 2.
Bill
Yeah,
and Ted.
Nope, not anymore.
Oh, not anymore. There's a third one
Not
coming.
Analyze This. Now that's a good. I like both of those.
Yeah.
Grumpy Old Men.
Yeah.
Grumpy Old Men.
Grumpier old men.
Wayne's World 1 and 2. There's quite a few on this list, but well, actually, that's all. Sister Act 1 and 2.
I like those.
Yeah,
300.
Yeah,
300
300.
not on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably a lot. If you now that we think about
Yeah.
it, if we really wanted
And
to.
it's usually the case that the second one completely kills any kind of hopes for a franchise,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because there's very, very rarely does the second one do better than the first.
Yep.
I think the what was it, the Batman, and then Batman Returns.
Mhm.
I think I remember reading that the second one did better. But
Really?
I can't remember.
It might have financially because of the hype, because how successful the first one was. People were
Yeah.
anticipating that one, and then the
And
third.
I count that as a 2-film series because the other 2 just shouldn't count.
Well, they're so just
Yeah.
weird and different. It almost doesn't feel like it's the same universe.
Mm-mm.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, they like the only thing that connects them is,
Alfred.
yeah, Alfred. Thank you.
Mhm.
I kept thinking Pennyworth, but that's his last.
That's
name.
his last name.
That's the only thing that it's the same actor. But I mean, there's even moments like I'll never forget watching the Batman Forever with Val Kilmer, and he's professing his love for Nicole Kidman, saying to Alfred, "I've never felt like this way about a woman before." And it's like, what about the last movie where you fell in love with Catwoman? The movie before that where you fell in love with Kim Basinger? Like, I don't. Can you? I guess this is a different one. I don't know. I guess it's what happens when you get nipples in the suit. Bikes made of explodium. Let's see. Snake is clearly carrying. Oh yeah, Snake shows up with an assault rifle, right? And people are just like, "Oh, no worries." And then the dude wants to throw a knife in the back. Like he literally brought a knife to a gunfight.
Mhm.
That guy was lame. Okay, here's another thing that I can't really explain about this movie. Why does everyone have a gun with unlimited ammo? You would have thought after,
It is that's the 90s influence right there,
like,
right?
Coop, your security is not worth a damn. Everybody's got a gun.
there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, let's think about this logically, John Carpenter. If everyone in LA that was there when the earthquake happened, everyone there had a gun, right?
Yeah.
So how many people live in LA? Million people? Less than a million? 700,000? Something like that? Let's say, I mean, we don't know what the population of Los Angeles now. But let's say back then there's 500,000 people there, and every one of them had an assault rifle, right? With
It wouldn't be any worse than
with
Texas
1,000
today.
rounds of ammo. After 13 years of as much violence that's happened on that island, you would have think that they would have burned through ammo, especially when every time they get excited, they just fire into the air.
What year was this made, right?
96.
Yeah, LA had a population of 3.5 million people.
So 3.5 million guns times
Yep.
1,000 rounds each.
Wait. The average American owns at least 2 guns.
This was said in 2013.
Yes.
By the way.
The average? There's an average that says 2. We have
The
that many
average
in this country?
yes, we do.
Oh my God, that's kind of terrifying. Because there are 0 guns
I know, right?
now, right? Like in this call, there are 0 guns in this call, right?
I don't have.
I have one.
You have 1.
Yeah.
I guess I have my dad's rifle. I guess that he gave me. I guess that
That
technically
counts as a gun. Yeah.
So I guess there's 2 on this call right now.
But mine is like a revolver. It's not a
Yeah.
That's still a gun.
semi-automatic or something.
Right, but I mean, but to my point, everyone had AK-47s, M16s, and MAC-10s, and like
Uzis.
The good stuff.
I mean, it
Yeah, the
was
good stuff.
ridiculous. My only thought was like if somehow Jose Cuervo was able to coordinate military attacks with Cuba, Mexico, like Honduras, or like there were other. I guess in this future world, countries like Cuba can invade us. I can't imagine them building a navy that we would care about. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't.
They've all got rafts and tubes that they just kind of.
Like how
over
are we in this world where he has to use the space weapon that destroys everything or that turns everything off? Like, don't we still have a navy in this future? Oh, here comes their fleet. Okay, just send our fleet down there and blow them up. I mean, they can't be in anything equal to our navy. So anyway, again, I'm overthinking this dumb movie.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
really am. I did feel bad for Talisma, whatever her name was, the girl that Bruce Campbell squeezed her boobs, which I also felt bad.
Kalima.
She shows up and she helps him out, and then she gets captured, and then he saves her, and then she just randomly gets shot. Like, it's like, all right, well, you have nothing more to give to the plot, dead.
Yeah, I thought
But
maybe
isn't
that would be a romantic connection, but
Well, it seems like this was a reoccurring thing in a Carpenter film in terms of how he treats the women, right?
I mean, one of the women's a dude.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Which, by the way, were you either one of you kind of grossed out when he stuck his hand between her legs? Like,
yeah,
if
we're not
you
grossed
know
out.
if you knew that was a dude, how close to the goods are you getting before you pull out that little Derringer thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
I did take a lot of notes. Cuervo Jones is literally the worst name for a bad guy.
Somebody was drinking tequila that made up
It's
that name.
total Chavez ripoff.
Yeah, good thing he knew how to drive that sub.
Okay. Well, we'll pause. Can we
Yeah.
talk about the sub for just a moment?
And the CGI shark.
Oh.
This sub, I felt like I was watching the Olympic luge, only terrible and not in snow. It was, I mean,
That's horrible.
Subs don't work like that underwater. And
You don't
just it's awful.
Yeah, like I said, visitor or listeners, please let me know if you like this movie because I want to find somebody who does and punch him in the face.
Or how about the when they assassinate the guy that doesn't make it in the basketball arena, right? They're literally in a circle. They would have all killed each other.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
This is what I have to say to that movie. There we go.
More of a visual than an audio thing. But
Well, again, for our YouTube watchers.
yeah.
Yeah.
I did go back and get your rifle. You know, when the guy with the chain knocks his really awesome, assault rifle down, I'd go back and get that. Like, if this is a video game, you're going to go back and get that. You don't know when you're going to get another weapon.
And, well, he does have these handguns that have enormous scopes on them. So.
Which is so lame because he hip fires everything in this movie.
Yeah.
And then he never gets to use those, like, in any kind of meaningful way. What else did I write? What type of what? Oh, it's just why? What is it with these types of movies where the president can just be by himself? It just seems weird where he's able to just.
There you go with the Secret Service again.
Yeah, it's just that's so weird. Oh, and there's still money on the island. People are still using money. That seemed weird. Why would?
I know it's a closed economic system.
Yeah, if you're in a closed system, then paper has no value, right? You're gonna trade commodities, right? Like, what's the biggest commodity? Like, how do they get fed? Like, are we dropping in food for them? Because they said it's no longer part of the United States, right? And you go there. I mean, it's not really a prison, so it's. I mean, how are they eating? I guess I'm asking questions I shouldn't ask.
No. In a movie like this, you can't. You just can't.
Oh, the other one of the questions I asked is why would they agree to Bangkok rules? I thought that was weird. Like they have him completely surrounded. All one of them just has to do is go pull the trigger and you've won. But instead he's like, hey, Bangkok rules. And they're like, all right, we'll back up 20 feet and give you plenty of room to. No one fires until I throw the can hits the ground. What? Whatever. It's dumb.
Snake Plissken. He's got. What do you call it?
Said his last name different every time, which I really appreciate.
He's got that. That that. Oh God, what's the ability when you can persuade others?
Oh,
persuasion.
Like, force persuasion.
Yeah.
What's that called? You can persuade people to do things. It's a word. That's all I got. Tropes.
Yeah.
The mic feedback trope. Good God. They use that trope about 3 or 4 times. Exploding bicycles. That's not a word. Motorcycles. That's a word. Trick a guy into doing a thing, so they have to like blackmail him, by giving him the flu. I meant to write earthquake ex machina, but I wrote earthquack ex machina.
You're thinking of the Bruce Campbell. Part, sure.
Hero decides to end it all trope. I mentioned that. All right.
Yeah. The thing about the earthquake at one point they say, I mean, they're violently shaking and then it stops and they go, oh, it's over. That's not how earthquakes work. Like, did we research anything when we made this movie?
No. You can't when you do Mad Libs. There's no word, nothing, everything that will fit in that line is able to be said in that line. So there you go.
All right, here's some clips. All right, you ready for this? I got a few. They're all short, so it's okay. All right, here we go. Well, if it'll play, it won't play. This is weird.
It's really short.
Shortest thing I've heard.
All right, here we go. Let's try.
That's what she said.
Ooh.
Skip the commentary, Plissken. Snake. Call me Snake.
Call me Snake. And then in the movie he says, "Call me Plissken." What? Make up your mind, weirdo. I did capture this because I had to at least get a little bit of Bruce Campbell.
My God, they're real.
Here we go. Yeah.
My God, they're real.
Yeah. So there you go. Not quite the name of the movie, but pretty close.
As you may have survived Cleveland, you may have escaped from New York, but this is L.A., Vato.
Yep. This is L.A. Okay.
This is L.A.
That would have been great if that song started playing. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Now, I am okay with the bad guy being a little crazy. But because he's hosting like gladiatorial games and he's doing the thumbs down.
It's called basketball.
Well, there was other gladiatorial games where like literally like this dude that's like 5'11" is fighting a guy that's like 6'5" with giant head chopping off scissors. And okay, fine. He's a little nuts, and people like that kind of violence when you go down to your base, whatever. But this line, it's supposed to be funny, but it's so out of character for this guy that it didn't make me laugh. It made me kind of frown, actually. So here's this dumb line.
If I'm being too rough on you, you just let me know, okay?
What's wrong with it?
It just, oh, stop. No, go away. Like, again,
Not being too rough on you?
yeah, it's just, this is this bad guy, and all of a sudden he's going to pull out this, am I being too rough? And also his accent seems to disappear.
If I'm being too rough on you, you just let me know, okay?
That seems like a good
Interesting.
accent.
Yeah.
I don't know. This was real dumb.
President's promised to give whoever helps me $1 million.
Oh yeah, 1 million greenbacks. I got 10 million of them in the next room.
Bluebacks. Oh, come on, Snake. Bluebacks. Swear to God, Eddie.
Bluebacks. So we're using blue money now in the future. Capital's moved from Washington, D.C. to Lynchburg, and we're using blue money. Like, okay. And this will never, ever, ever happen. This is the most unbelievable thing about the entire movie, right here. This part, right here.
You gotta smoke.
The United States is the no-smoking nation. No smoking, no drinking, no drugs, no women. Unless, of course, you're married. No guns, no foul language, no red meat.
Land of the free.
No.
No.
None of that will ever happen. There are so, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Especially no red meat.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Red meat in the gun. I don't understand the no women part. Like, in order to become married, you have to date women.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if he was no prostitution, okay, fine, but that's the law of the land now. That's not anything different in the future. That was just dumb. All right.
And now for some more bad news. Ready?
From a far superior John Carpenter film. According to, I already said that one, and I've already said that one. This film is known for having poorly produced CGI. This was due to the fact that the employees at the visual effects house Buena Vista Visual Effects had never dealt with computer graphics before, and they didn't know how to achieve them properly. Now,
Well, that's no shocker.
So now-
my God.
so I say this. Yes, you read that and go, okay, it was their first time doing a movie CGI thing. My response to that is, when John Carpenter showed up to their studio and said, hey, these are the things I want to do with computers, and they were like, hey, we're still running DOS here, boss. We don't know how to do that. Then go somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Or
I'm
don't
not
film it. Don't use the CGI.
I'm not
Think
saying
of a different way to do it.
Yeah, I'm not saying they could have afforded Pixar at the time or ILM, but like, you know, there's probably a couple other companies in LA that could have been like, yeah, we'll do it for you. So, yeah. To get into character as a transgendered woman, Pam Grier put a sock in her pants during shooting.
Good for her.
Andrew, this one's just for you. The Happy Kingdom set was actually the town square from Back to the Future.
Ah,
Isn't that
Really?
cool?
yeah, that is cool.
That's
That
interesting.
town square
Yeah.
has gotten a lot of mileage
Yes, it
Mhm.
has.
between the 3 Back to the Future movies, Gremlins, and now this.
Mhm.
And I mentioned that one. Oh no, this is the one I missed. According to an interview with John Carpenter, Kurt Russell not only came up with, but wrote the entire ending of the movie. So it was Kurt Russell's idea to end the world, to hit the reset button, to shake the Etch-a-Sketch, as it were. So there you go.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Now we're going to talk about movies that we kind of like. So here we go. So we decided to do a top 3 of movies set in LA. I think that's how we worded it.
We said in L.A.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. So we're doing movies set in L.A. So Andrew goes first.
Okay. I have a honorable mention today of La La Land.
All right.
Ooh. Love me a
And
musical.
then number 3, I have Rush Hour.
Okay, I forgot that was in L.A. Okay.
Number 2, Lethal Weapon 4.
Ooh,
My very first DVD ever purchased.
nice.
And a great movie. And then number 1, Face Off.
Face Off.
Mm-hmm. And that says a lot for me because I'm not a Nick Cage fan.
I could eat it.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, Sam.
All right, I've got a number 3 of Speed. Got to see a lot of LA in Speed.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Good one.
Number 2 is a movie that it sometimes pops in my head and I want it to go away, called Nightcrawler.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yep. And my number 1, Andrew mentioned it before, is La La Land.
All right.
Yep. What you got, Ob?
Okay. So I do have Nightcrawler on my list also.
Vamp.
So I'm gonna thank you, Corny. I'm gonna trade that one out with my honorable mention of Training Day.
Okay.
My number 2 is Hancock. With
yeah.
Was that in it? I guess that was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He flies around. Yeah.
He does. He does fly around.
Okay.
And my number 1, it's not my favorite movie, but I do like it, and I don't really care. I just like the movie. I think it's fun. Battle L.A.
See, I'm just not a fan of that one for some reason.
Yeah, I know.
I don't understand why.
It's I like it. I know there's a lot of shaky cam that people have issue with because the whole thing is like guerrilla style, but I like it. It's fun. I like Aaron Eckhart, and there's some fun one-liners in there too. So there you go.
Cool.
That's that. And now time for this.
Wait, what's supposed to happen?
Well, Daniel Radcliffe, I'll tell you. We give this movie a score from something to something, usually 0 to 10. I got a pretty good feeling none of us are going to be north of 10. I'm actually, I'm going to play a game with myself, and this is going to that sounded weird. I'm going to write down the score that I think that we're going to come to the average of, and I've written it down on the sheet here. So let's just go, and I will have my score in my head, so I won't try to influence to make that thing happen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
sure.
Andrew.
Okay. I'm going to give this I guess a 2.3.
Okay. Oh, wow. All right. Yeah. You really didn't like it.
No, I did not.
Okay.
Yep. I'm going to give this on the Richter scale just a subtle shaking at a 1.5.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I hated this movie. Seriously, this is a movie where I started questioning why I even do the podcast. I was not happy with this movie.
Fair enough. Well,
it was torture, man.
Then
what do you have to say?
I don't know. I mean, to that specifically, all I can say is, well, then you pick the movies. Actually, you have.
No, I don't know.
No,
we go through the rotten ones so that the good ones are that much better. So
yeah,
there you go.
No, we've got some good stuff coming up, and I need to edit the list here because I saw some new movies that I really want to do. The number that I put down for what I thought was going to happen, we're nowhere close to, honestly. Because in order for me to get there, I'd have to give this movie like an 8. So.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Wow, so you didn't think we hated it that much then, huh?
I thought
as much as we.
So I wrote down what I thought was going to be a 4.9. I figured that there was going to be enough action for the movie to, you know what I'm saying? Like it was, that would have been enough to bring it to, middling levels. I mean, IMDb gives it a 5.8. But
yeah, I can't be with them.
Yeah, I mean, just for nostalgia, I'm gonna give it probably a 3.5. But even that 3.5 doesn't come anywhere close to the 4.9.
It's pushing. It's pushing.
Yeah, we're at a 2.43. So, yeah. So, I'm actually kind of curious what that puts where that would put it in with other movies.
It'll be low. That's for sure.
2.43. It's going to come in slightly under. It's going to come in between Transformers: Age of Extinction and Children of the Corn.
That's a good place.
That's a good place.
That's a good place for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel actually pretty good about that. So, Escape from New York, we gave a 5.64.
Yeah. Yeah, which is middling. I mean, it was at least an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Know?
That movie is essentially twice as good as this one.
Yeah.
Think about it in the realm of the ranking.
Grand scope of things. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's it. Next week, we're going to do something very different. Now, I've adjusted the list, and I haven't talked to you guys about it, but we'll talk about some future stuff post show real quick. But on the list is Inception.
Okay.
Now we want to do Inception. I
love me some Inception.
I love the movie too. It's long. Are we in for the commitment?
Some people like it long.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't be ashamed.
Give me a good one.
Next week. Yeah, we kind of do need a really good movie too, I think. So Inception is next week. After that, we've got some stuff coming up. I need to, again, tweak the list a little bit. There is one I want to add in, and we'll talk about that off air. But yeah, that's it. That's the show. My gosh, this was
painful.
Yeah, this was like kind of like taking, eating your like eating your vegetables or something. I don't know, like eating your Brussels sprouts so that you could.
But it's like Brussels sprouts that are like not cooked and have been sitting outside for 5 days.
Okay, sure, but we get through the Brussels sprouts so that next week we can have the chocolate cake that is Inception.
There you go. It sounds good to me.
Yep. So that's it. So guys, thank you so much for listening. And if you watch this movie to participate with us, we both thank you and apologize. Leave us a review on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube. I think I might actually start just recording our Skype sessions and putting them on YouTube as a thing. I don't know. Especially if Andrew's going to keep having the camera 4 inches away from his face. They're going to make people look really uncomfortable, or they're going to laugh the entire time. Either way, I'm all for it. Facebook.com/cheapseatreviews is where you can participate there. At cheapseatcast is our Twitter account. Cheapseatreviews@gmail.com, of course, is our email address. And again, if you guys like the show, it would be great if you could share it with some other people and just help spread the word because that would just be cool. And I will say this, 300 episode was very successful. We've had a lot of good downloads for it. The video has been seen a bunch of times. The edited version that I put back up there, not the original. So we're going in a good direction. We're heading back north as far as the downloads, so that's pretty cool. So anyway,
awesome.
So on behalf of Andrew and Sam, this is Sean saying thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.